welcome back to Googie's Kitchen. My name is Alexis and today I want to show you how to make my delicious chickpea Yorkies from my new cookbook, Gifts from Grandpa. Show you how to make my delicious chickpea Yorkies, but before I do, if you are new to my channel, then hello and welcome. It's lovely to have you here, and if you love recipe videos and you want to see more, then I upload every Tuesday and Thursday at 6 PM, so please don't forget to hit that subscribe button. As I just mentioned, today I want to show you how to make my chickpea Yorkies. Now this recipe is in my new cookbook, Gifts from Grandpa, which is available to buy on Amazon, and it's written in loving memory of my dad. My dad was an amazing cook, so I decided to write down lots of his recipes and put them into a book. I've also put some of my own in here, some of my nan's and one of my grandfather's as well. So there's a variety of recipes in here. It ranges from things like starters and soups to desserts to roast dinners and all sorts of other stuff in between as well. And also my dad believed that everybody should have a home and everybody should have a place to go to. So I've decided that £1 from the sale of each book will go to the homeless charity Crisis. Now, onto my Yorkshire pudding recipe. This recipe is a bit different to a normal Yorkshire pudding recipe because it uses chickpea flour, as I've said at the beginning. I'm allergic to gluten, so I can't have a normal Yorkshire pudding. So when I discovered my gluten intolerance, I decided to look for alternatives to a Yorkshire pudding recipe. I love this recipe. It's not the same as a Yorkshire pudding, I have to say. It's a bit more cake-like, but it does soak up the gravy just as well as a normal Yorkshire pudding would, and that's what you want in a Yorkshire pudding. I always think it just needs to soak up the gravy and then it's good. It's based on my dad's recipe. My dad was a brilliant cook and he was brilliant at making Yorkshire puddings as well. So I based this on his recipe and his ideas on how to make the best Yorkshire pudding mix. So here is how to make my chickpea Yorkies. So I've weighed and measured all of my ingredients, and weighing and measuring your ingredients is one of the most important things. It's like a key element to making Yorkshire pudding mix, I have to say. That's what my dad used to tell me. So my dad used to use equal measures of everything. So in here I have 200 grams of chickpea flour, which I'm just going to put into a large mixing bowl. And then I've got 1 large tablespoon of baking powder and a pinch of salt in there as well. Now, if you want to use self-raising flour, you're more than welcome to do so. If you can't get hold of chickpea flour, it's called ground flour in the supermarkets as well sometimes. And it's normally down like the ethical aisles, like where they sell the Indian kind of foods and things. And yes, so to that, I'm then going to add 200 mils of milk as well. So that's your equal measures. I'm just going to put that in, and I think I'm going to start to use the whisk now. So I'm going to whisk this round. Lovely. Whisking it round. And then I've got 2 large eggs as well, which I've scrambled up in a cup. I'm going to add that in now as well. And that is literally it. That is a Yorkshire pudding mix. And then what I'm going to do, once I've whisked this together, is I'm going to put this into the fridge while I preheat my oven. So I'm going to preheat the oven to about 200 degrees, and I'm going to put this in the fridge. You can, if you want to, make this the night before and store it in the fridge overnight. It just makes making a roast dinner easier the next day. If you've got a lot of guests coming, then it's simpler to do things like that the night before, I always find. So I'm just going to tap that off. Oh, spilled it everywhere as I always do. And that's going to go in the fridge now while I preheat the oven. It's preheating. I'm going to pour oil into the bottom of a Yorkshire pudding tray. These are really big Yorkshire puddings. You don't have to have them this size. I think they call these muffin trays in America. I'm calling it a Yorkshire pudding tray because that's what I'm making. And I'm just going to pour a bit of oil into the bottom of each one. And the oil is to help it cook and go crispy. So you do need quite a bit of oil in the bottom. And I'm just going to put these into the oven now while the oven preheats. And then what will happen is the oil will get really hot. And then hopefully that will make the Yorkshire pudding rise. So I'm going to put these in the oven now. The oven has been preheating for about 15 minutes now, and it's hot enough to start cooking these Chickpea Yorkies now. So I'm just going to pour some batter into each of the holes as evenly as I can. I'm not sure how evenly I'm going to be able to do this, but I'm hoping. I've only made 5, normally this would make about 6, but obviously if you want smaller ones then you'll need to be a bit less generous. So they're now in, and I'm going to put these in the oven for about 20 minutes and hopefully they should go nice and golden brown on top. Here is my Chickpea Yorkies. And they've actually only been in for about 10 minutes, but they've already started to go golden brown on top, so I've decided to remove them from the oven, and I'm just going to leave these to cool now. So as I said just now, they've turned really lovely and golden brown, and I'm just going to give one a little try, because they look so yummy that I have to try them. That's really good. It's not really like a Yorkshire pudding. It's a more cake-like, more muffin-like, but it does taste just as good. And as I said earlier, it does soak up the gravy as well, which is what you want in the Yorkshire pudding, I think. So that's how you make my delicious Chickpea Yorkies. I'm off to enjoy these with a roast dinner this evening. And again, that recipe is in my new cookbook, Gifts from Grandpa, which I will link in the description box below for you. And I will also link the recipe in the description box below too. That's it from me. Thank you so much for watching. Please feel free to give me a big thumbs up if you enjoyed this video. And please feel free to leave any comments below. Do you love Yorkshire puddings, and have you tried them with a different flour? I'd love to know. And please don't forget to hit that subscribe button. See you all soon. Bye.